The Phillies season is finally over, honestly. Terrible season for the Phillies, especially from what we all expected to actually happen. The Phillies finished 81-81 on the season with a 500 record. That's terrible. We get all these good offensive players, and it was a terrible season. Bryce Harper did what he did. He did what he had to do. Same thing with JT Realmuto. Those were two of the players that actually did what they were supposed to do this season. Gene Segura, Rhys Hoskins, not really Gene, but Rhys Hoskins underperformed all season. Well, at the halfway point of the season. He underperformed. And if you say he didn't, then you're lying to yourself because he did. Hitting 180 and only 9 home runs after the All-Star break is a joke. Especially from an All-Star caliber first baseman. We all know he could be a first baseman in the All-Star game. We all know that. Rhys Hoskins is still young. He hit 29 home runs on the season. 9 of them came after All-Star break, though. That's terrible. I don't know what his future holds with the team. I'm pretty sure he'll be a Philly for next season, the year after that. Like, he should be. He's Rhys Hoskins. He's a young, up-and-coming player in this league, and I truly believe that. Something happened in his head, though. Something happened, because you don't just forget how to hit. You don't just forget how to do all these things that you were doing last season and in the first half of this season. It just doesn't happen. You don't forget how to hit a baseball when you are 26 years old in your third season in the MLB. You don't forget that. I don't know what happened with Rhys. He's got to fix it during this summer. He has to fix it. It's not... He cannot just keep... He can't do what he did this year, next year. We should be in the playoffs. The Phillies should be in the playoffs starting Tuesday. We should be in Washington, D.C., playing the Nationals for the wild card. We should be. I firmly and truly believe that we should be in a playoff spot this season. And the reason why we're not is because the pitching was horrendous all season long. Like, it was a joke. The rotation in the beginning of the season: Aaron Nola, Jake Arrieta, Nick Pivetta, Vince Velasquez. And then you had, like, Zach Eflin. And then towards June, like Mother's Day, around June-ish, you had Cole Irving thrown in the lineup. Eflin and Pivetta were switching out of the bullpen in and out. And then at the end of the season, your rotation is Aaron Nola, Jason Vargas, Zach Eflin, Vince Velasquez, and Drew Smyly. We got Drew Smyly. The dude had a 7-something ERA. He had an ERA that was over 7. He comes in, pitches 2 good first games. He pitched 2 good games to start it off. And then after that, he fell apart. He completely fell off. He was horrible for the rest of the season. And nothing good came after that. Aaron Nola, who's our ace, and he is our ace. You can't argue with that. Especially with this pitching rotation. He's the ace. Did nothing in September when we needed him the most. He did absolutely nothing. He was 0-6, 0-7 in September, which was horrible. And is that his fault? Not all of it was his fault. You had to throw him out every 5 games because our pitching staff was terrible. And you needed to get wins when Nola was on the mound, and you didn't because he was gassing out at the 7th, 6th innings. Like, he was burned out, and you could tell because his arm, he was everywhere. All over the strike zone, high, curveballs, like, it was terrible. He looked nothing like what we saw last year when he was 3rd place in the Cy Young winner for the NL. He's got to be better. He's got to be better with late in the season. He has to be better. This is now the second year in a row where he's kind of fell off a little bit towards the end of the season. Bryce Harper and JT Realmuto were great. They were great for us this season. They were the only two things that I can really pull out of this season and say, they did their job. They did this, they did that. And it was fun watching them play, especially late August, actually all of August, late September. JT Realmuto was on fire all season. Bryce Harper was on fire towards the end of the season. It was fun watching them play. It really was. And it sucks that we couldn't see them in the playoffs and Nola in the playoffs, because I think all three of them deserve to be in the playoffs. Especially what Nola had to deal with all season long with no pitching. I've said it in a video prior to this one. What we need as an organization is pitching and consistency throughout the lineup. You need to be consistent. And that's what the Phillies weren't. They weren't consistent. Bryce Harper in the beginning of the season was not consistent. JT Realmuto had that stretch where he wasn't consistent. And then you had Rhys Hoskins, who was consistent, but consistently bad. He was terrible. Same thing with the pitching. The pitching was consistently bad throughout the last 2 months of the season. It was bad. Consistently bad. I can't express enough how hard it is to watch a game with Jason Vargas throwing 77 to 82 miles an hour fastballs that once the third inning came around, he was getting absolutely rocked. He was getting taken deep by every player in the game. I can't tell you how many times Pete Alonso actually took this man deep this season. It was unbelievable. Not just Vargas, everybody. He was taking everybody deep in every team. But, that's one thing the Phillies never have had, and that is a good farm system. Mickey Moniak has been in the AAA, AA, wherever he's at. He's been in there since 2016. He was the number 1 overall pick. The dude is still there. Ronald Acuna Jr. and Juan Soto are in our division, and they are tearing it up. They're both in the playoffs this season, and they both are huge pieces to their team. And our best prospect player for this season was Adam Easley. I like Adam Easley, don't get me wrong. He's a great defender, and he can learn how to hit better, more consistently. It's hard. It's hard to just put this season into perspective because it was such a disappointment. We looked terrible in September. And we all knew it was a tough month of September with the Braves, 2 series against the Braves, a series against the Red Sox, a series against the Indians, 5-game road stand against the Nationals. It shouldn't have gotten to that point to where we would have to win 9 straight games against the Nationals, steal a game from the Indians, and then go on to sweep the Marlins. We shouldn't have to win 9 straight games at the end of the season with this caliber of a team. It shouldn't have gotten to that point. And that's where it's so frustrating to realize that this team should be in the playoffs, and the main reason why they aren't is because pitching, and we did nothing about it during the season, during the offseason, and I don't know if we're going to do anything this offseason. We should, and if we don't, we're going to face mediocrity for the next 12 years with Bryce Harper on this team. Because 12 years is a long time. If we don't get pitching within the 12 years that this dude is here, I don't expect us to win at all. And that's 12 years down the line. The Phillies haven't been in the playoffs since 2011. It's already 2019, going into the 2020 season. We haven't been in the playoffs for 8 years. I was 11 the last time the Phillies were in the playoffs. We gotta get some pitching. That's my main thing for this video, is we gotta get pitching. And if we don't, we will be where we were this season for the next few seasons until we get pitching. And I can't tell you who I want more. Like, I want Garrett Cole, don't get me wrong. He's a great baseball player. Great pitcher, one of the best in the league. But do I want Garrett Cole, or do I want a pitching rotation with Aaron Nola and guys that can get it done night in and night out, like the Nationals have, like the Dodgers have, like the Astros have? The Nationals are where they are at right now because of pitching. Patrick Corbin, Steven Strasburg, Max Scherzer, they are there in the wild card right now because of pitching. And it's as simple as that. They also had Anthony Rendon and Juan Soto, and they're good players. Don't get me wrong. They are great players. But pitching goes a long way. And we saw that with the Phillies, and look at the Nationals, the Astros, who are the best team in the league record-wise. You even look at the Dodgers, who are first place and are a good team in this league. Pitching goes a long way. And that's what the Phillies need to get this offseason. And if we don't, we will be mediocre yet again. And we will hear all the other fans around the league saying, Bryce Harper's this, Bryce Harper's that, the Phillies suck. And I'm tired of hearing that, because I've heard it for the last 8 years. And this was supposed to be the year where that was it. It was supposed to be finished. We're supposed to be in the playoffs, and that was the end of that. But it's not. So we got to wait until next year to see what happens with this Phillies team. Like, comment, subscribe. One away from 100. That's pretty cool, considering I've only done this for a week. Thank you to everyone who's subscribed so far. Appreciate the views and likes. Phillies got to get some pitching. That was the main purpose of this video, and to say what my piece was about this season. Leave your comments down below. Go Phillies. On to next season. I'll see you next time.